Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing some of the examples of article writing. Now let us start by discussing the first example we have. India is said to be a young country and is emerging as a global power. The youth is getting increasingly concerned about the problems of corruption, environment, pollution, misuse of natural resources, etc. Write an article in about 150 to 200 words on your vision of India in 2040. You are Raj or Ranjana. So by now, most of you must have catched the topic we have to write about. It is the our vision of India in 2040. And you must have also noticed how we are given some background information about the same, that how we have to build our article. We are first given with the line that India is a young country and it's emerging as a global power. Because it's a young country, youth are obviously important. The youth of the Indian youth is obviously important for the nation, and because they are important, they are increasingly becoming concerned about the topics, about various important topics, debatable topics. So now we as youth, we are becoming more important. We are the future generations. We are the coming generations upon whom the whole responsibility is to be placed. So in this line only, we have to write our vision of India in 2040. How we see India as in 2040. Uh, how we as a youth would we as youth would lead the country and still talk about issues so strongly. So in this line only, we have to write an article on our vision of India in 2040. So we have to carry on this idea of importance of youth further. So let us read what has been given in the answer. So first we can see the title is given, My Vision of Future India. So this is a quite relevant title because we are asked directly to write our vision of India in 2040. So we are directly using the phrase from the question, My Vision of Future India. Then you have to write the name of the writer, that is Raj. So you are given by Raj or Ranjana, or you could write here Ranjana. Then most of us have a massive psychological barrier against looking at the future vision of India. Those who see the future as growing directly out of present also often narrow their vision. It is my belief that year 2020 will belong to those who try to see diversity as a value in itself, not as an instrument for resisting new monocultures of the mind or as a compromise necessary for maintaining communal and ethical harmony. Notice how strong worded the introduction is, how it has hooked us to read further what this writer has to present to us in the coming paragraphs. So in the first line itself, we are given with the personal opinion of the writer, that he feels that most of us have problem while depicting the future of India. Most of us have problem while we talk about our future vision of our country. And now he talks that most of us who see future as directly growing out of present, they often narrow their vision. What does this line mean? It means that जब भी हम इंडिया के फ्यूचर की बात करते हैं, जब भी हमसे कोई पूछता है how do you see India in 2040, how do you see India in next 10 years or 20 years, so most of us do not have words to express it. We are psychologically backed off when we listen to this line. So this is what the writer is saying, that most of the people are put a psychological barrier in front of themselves when someone talks about this topic, and if someone do talks about it, they narrow this vision. वो इसी बारे में बात करते हैं कि हाउ जो अभी हो रहा है उस वही चीजें जो है वो आगे भी चलती रहेंगी. हमारा जो फ्यूचर है वो हमारे प्रेजेंट से ग्रो करेगा. दिस इज ऑल्सो नैरो विजन, नैरो व्यू ऑफ दिस टॉपिक. So it's his belief that the year 2040 will belong to those who try to see diversity as a value in itself. वो ये कह रहा है कि 2040 उन लोगों का होगा जो डाइवर्सिटी को एक वैल्यू की तरह देखेंगे, एक इंडिपेंडेंट वैल्यू की तरह देखेंगे. व्हाट इज डाइवर्सिटी? डाइवर्सिटी इज डिफरेंस. You know, when we talk about India, one adjective that we join with India is unity in diversity. जब हम बात करते हैं इंडिया की तो हम इस फ्रेज को जरूर यूज करते हैं. So that is a good topic that the writer has presented in the introduction itself. He's talking about diversity. He's also saying that आज हम believe करते हैं unity in diversity में, तो 2040 उनका होगा जो डाइवर्सिटी को किसी और वैल्यू के साथ नहीं मिलाते हैं, वो उसको इंडिपेंडेंट देखते हैं, नॉट एज एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ रेजिस्टिंग न्यू मोनोकल्चर्स ऑफ माइंड और एज अ कॉम्प्रोमाइज नेसेसरी फॉर मेंटेनिंग कम्युनल एंड एथिकल हार्मनी. Often when we talk about diversity, we talk about how Indians are different, how they follow different cultures, how they follow different religions, but they are still together. But the writer feels that all of this that is going, all of this, necessary, all of this unnecessary talk that is going about in a connection of diversity, where we are backing up some monocultures, cultures who have the same thinking from years and years, and we are using diversity as a compromise to maintain our communal and ethical harmony. तो ये ऐसा नहीं चलेगा 2040 तक. 2040 में हम डाइवर्सिटी को इंडिपेंडेंटली देखेंगे, not as an excuse of resisting new monocultures, and we would not be seeing diversity as a compromise for maintaining communal and ethical harmony. Now, India of the future will be central to the world where the idea of diversity will be cherished as an end in itself. My vision statement is not a prediction of what will actually occur, nor is it a wish list of desirable but unattainable ends. It's actually a statement of what we believe is possible for our nation to achieve, seeing the level of concern that our present day youth is showing about the problems of corruption, environmental pollution, misuse of natural resources, etc. An essential requirement for envisioning India in 2040 is to recognize that the parameters which determine national development have changed in recent years and will change further in the future. This is likely to open up greater possibilities than ever before. The growing influence in the fields of technology, education, information, productive skills, etc., lends credence to the view that India will definitely achieve and sustain higher economic growth and development in the coming decades. Now, the second paragraph tells us that the writer is not giving a prediction about his vision of India in 2040, nor he is giving a wish list which presents unrealistic viewpoints. The tasks which cannot be achieved, tasks which are unrealistic. He's not talking about this. He's giving a statement of what he believes is possible for the nation to achieve till 2040, because he's seeing the level of concern that the present youth is showing about the problem of corruption, environmental pollution, misuse of natural resources. Now we come to the concluding paragraph. In this paragraph, as you can notice, he is talking about what can be done, what can be done, and how India would achieve his vision of 2040. What is already being done and what will change in 2040. So, an essential requirement for envisioning India in 2040 is to recognize that the parameters which determine national development have changed. जिस पैरामीटर्स से हम नेशनल डेवलपमेंट को मेजर करते हैं वो चेंज हो जाएंगे और चेंज होते आ रहे हैं कुछ सालों में. This is likely to open up greater possibilities than ever before. So the growing influence in the fields of technology, education, etc., it has lent us help to view that India will definitely achieve and sustain higher economic growth and development in the coming decades. So notice how the reader has left us with a positive viewpoint that India will definitely achieve and sustain higher economic growth and development in the coming decades. And the parameters which we use now for measuring national development, they would not be valid in the coming years. And his vision of future India is not at all unrealistic. It is totally in concern with the present day youth who are showing concern about the problems of corruption, environmental pollution, misuse of natural resources, etc. Now, the next one is advertisements have become a big business. They are promoted by celebrities drawn from various fields like film, sports, etc., leaving their influence on people, especially the young. Write an article in 150 to 200 words on the impact of advertisements on younger generation. You are Aruna or Arun. So this is quite an interesting question. Here we have to write about the impact of advertisements on the younger generation. We are also given with the title of the article. So we are also given with the information what we have to talk about. We have to talk about the impact of celebrities and various stars when they advertise a product, what impact they have on the youth, on the present day youth. So we have to talk about this in our article. So first, the title is given, which we were given in the question. Then the name of the writer is given. The advertisement industry has a tremendous impact on younger generation. एडवर्टाइजमेंट इंडस्ट्री का बहुत ज़्यादा असर होता है हमारी यंगर जनरेशन पे. As citizens of modern world, advertisements have become a part of daily lives of youngsters, and they have got used to being bombarded with numerous advertisements over the course of their day. So when we talk about advertisements are not only the ones shown on TVs, not only the one where stars advertise a product on TV. But nowadays, social media is more influential than other kind of media. We can realize how important that platform is for advertisements. And now most of the companies have moved on to advertise their products on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, any other social media app like that. So this advertisement industry has clubbed up with the social media and we can see how it is taking over our minds. How when we search a product on Google, we are bombarded with various ads on the social media apps we use. So this is a trick to conquer our minds, to make us think whole day about the product with witty advertisements, with catchy tunes, catchy songs, and catchy phrases for the advertisements. Now they have become so common that they often do not even realize that they are hearing or viewing them. Actually, this is true in all sense. We do not realize that we are hearing or viewing an advertisement. They have become so such a common part of our lives. They have a pervasive influence on youth, and in the ever expanding world of consumerism and advertising, companies are constantly looking for new ways to sell their products to the youngsters by making their commercials and campaigns more memorable to leave an impact on their minds. So that is what I was talking about. Nowadays, in this age of consumerism and advertising, what is consumerism? Consumerism is the prevalent practice of giving more importance to a consumer. And now, in our world where consumerism and advertising have become so popular, companies are finding new ways to attract the viewers through their memorable ads, through memorable ways to sell their products, and especially they are attracting youngsters who get easily attached to these. Now is the age of memes. Now is the age of texting, video calling, and everything quick. They want to make it. They want to make all of their advertisements quick and memorable, so that they leave an impact on the youngsters' minds. The younger generation has become their prime target because they have more spending power than ever before and increased avenues at their disposal. Therefore, companies spend enormous amounts of money to rope in popular film stars, cricketers, musicians, etc., to endorse their products. This helps to ensure popularity and early brand loyalty. So, what are they talking about here? The younger generation has become the prime product of advertisers. They have become their prime targets because they have more spending power, they have more authority, they are more prevalent on the social media apps, and they get easily influenced by cricketers, film stars, and musicians. So, they use them to endorse their products. And this helps them to ensure the popularity and early brand loyalty. So when you set up a brand, when you set up a bunch of loyal customers, loyal consumers, then you have no going back. When you are popular, when you have gained brand loyalty, then there is no going back. Then you have completely conquered over the minds of your consumers. In the last decade, many super brands have looked towards new and outrageous ways to capture young audiences through appealing campaigns, as these youngsters are cognitively and psychologically quite defenseless against advertisements. Clearly, advertisements represent big business and has a significant effect on young people who need to be educated about the effects of advertising, that is, media literacy. This will prove to be helpful in mitigating the harmful effects of advertising on youngsters. So, in the concluding paragraph, the writer is saying that in the last few years, brands have looked towards new ways of novel ways to capture the young minds through appealing, through attractive campaigns. As these youngsters, they are not so strong, they are not so cognitively they are not so cognitively strong against these tricks. We know that when one example of advertisement that I would like to give is one of the Vodafone ads, the Zoos, the white colored cartoons, right? They were so popular in among all of us. They were so catchy. They were so hilarious that still they are known. The ads came years ago, but they are still loved by the audience. So this is what uh, uh, capturing is called. This is what capturing the consumer's mind is called. And clearly, advertisements represent big businesses. Nowadays, advertising is a big business. It's a very startling career opportunity, and it has a significant effect on young people. And due to this, they need to be educated about it. They need to be made familiar with the concept of media literacy, what to consume and what not to consume. Here we are not talking about food, we are talking about content. What content we have to consume and what content we do not have to consume. This will prove to be helpful in mitigating, in erasing the harmful effects of advertising on youngsters. Notice how complete this article is, how it has given an introduction, how it has given the causes and effects of the impact of advertisements, and it has given us with a viable solution that we need to give our younger generation some talk about media literacy and how it will be helpful in mitigating the harmful effects of advertisements. Now we'll move on to some tips we need to keep in mind while writing an article. While writing an article, you need to be super precise. Not in word limit, but expressing your views. If you write under the word limit, then also your marks would be cut, and if you write over the word limit, then also you have to your marks would be cut. So it's best that you be precise in presenting your viewpoints. Use words which are relevant for your article. Use words which go with your ideas, and then obviously be within the word limit. Be coherent and cohesive. What do you mean by coherent and cohesive? When I say the word coherent and cohesive, I mean that your views should be in a sequence. Your views should be in a way that make sense. You should be your article should be flowing in a good way, that when the reader is reading it, he or she finds information at the relevant points. First you give the introduction, then you give the causes, then you give the effects, and then you give a viable solution to your article. So this is being coherent and cohesive. When your ideas make sense and you are flowing, you are writing in a flow, that is being coherent and cohesive. Then you have to convey your ideas in a clear manner. You do not want to bore the reader. So when you are clear on what you are writing, when you know about when you know everything about the subject you are writing about, then you are writing in a clear manner. And in that way, your expression is clear and you do not bore the reader. The next thing is, this is not a debate. You do not necessarily have to take sides. In debate, we have to be either on the positive side or on the negative, or on the, you have to be against or you have to be with the issue. But in article, you can present both sides. If you wish, you can present the positive side also. If you wish, you can present the negative side also. If you want, you can take a neutral side also, which is usually not allowed in a debate. This is not a debate and you're not required to take sides. Please, please, please use examples. Use your personal examples, use examples you read about, and talk about your personal views. And then most importantly, change paragraphs. Do not write article in a single paragraph. Give a paragraph for causes and effects, give a separate paragraph for your introduction, and give a separate paragraph for your conclusion. So when you change paragraphs in this way, your article gives a good form, gives a good visual form. So that is all about article writing. Thank you and have a nice day.